This is Akomea-Agyin, and this is Fervent Wisdom. Trust beyond faith. There's a story about a little fly who tried to get out of a restaurant, but was trying to get out of the restaurant through a glass window. Your guess is as good as mine. The fly tried frantically to get outside of that door of that restaurant, but could not get out because he was beating himself against a glass window. Many of the people who were there in the restaurant saw it, and they were wondering why the fly was wasting all his energy, because just a few steps away from that window was a wide open door that the fly could have easily passed through to get outside of that restaurant. The problem is that both of them, that is the window and the door, they looked outside, because to that small eyes of that fly, he could see the outside vividly from the window. Now, a lot of things that we have in this world look like the truth. These days, truth is relative. Everything looks the same, but there is one way outside of that restaurant. When Jesus met that rich young ruler in Matthew chapter 19, he told Jesus that I have kept all the law since my childhood. Then Jesus told him, there's one thing that you have to do. Sell everything you have and come and follow me. But he could not do it. This rich young man decided to continue beating himself against that glass window to try to get to the outside, to try to get into the kingdom of heaven. But there was only one way to the outside, and that way was Jesus Christ. It is one thing for people who are able to move outside of that window to have trust and to have faith. But what I am going to say will shock you, because even faith is not what you need to be able to find the right door. That fly had a lot of faith for even getting to the glass window in the first place, for trying to move outside. That was a lot of faith. He had seen the outside. He had probably seen himself flying with his friends in the outside, but he was going about it the wrong way. What that fly lacked was guidance. Only if some of the human beings who were in that restaurant could have spoken to the fly and told him, look, we know what you are trying to do. We know, we can see your faith in doing what you are trying to do. But only if you would go through the open door. There's an open door just 8 steps away. If you would fly through that open door, you would make it to your destination. So it wasn't that the fly lacked faith. The fly lacked guidance. Psalm 25 says that the meek will God guide. The word meek is from the Old English word buxom, which means ready to obey. The ones who are ready to obey are the ones whom God will guide. When the rich young man left, Jesus told the disciples that it is easier for a camel to enter through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. Do you know why it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle? It is because camels are guided. They are guided by someone through the eye of that needle. If only you knew that your whole life is already seen by God. If the fly knew that everything about him, everything that he was trying to do was already known by the human beings in the restaurant, I'm sure he would have gone to them to ask them, look guys, I'm trying to get out of here. How can I get out? If only you knew that your whole life is already mapped out by God, that God knows your beginning from your end. He knows your end from your beginning. He knows everything. He knows everywhere you have to go. He knows everything you have to do. He knows all things that you must go through. If only you knew, you would go to him for guidance. It is not about the lack of faith that is blocking you from your success and from breaking through and from disrupting, from becoming that leader that you want to become. It is the lack of guidance that is keeping you away. So may God add obedience to your faith, so that in all things, in your strong faith, in your little faith that can move mountains, God should add obedience to it, that whenever he speaks to you, you shall obey and you shall follow his guide to success. May God richly bless you. Amen.